Shalom everybody, it's Nick Vanderlaan. This is part 2 to the video that I just published on YouTube. The video that I published on YouTube was Judgment of Ephraim, USA, June 21st to 24th, 2018. You can see it by this image here. If you haven't watched that video, I recommend that you watch that video first before you watch this video. Watch it on 2 times speed or 1.5 times speed. It's a little bit longer than normal, but there's really important information in there. This video, I've already shot it. I'm just shooting the header for it, and I wanted to bring some attention to what this video is about. This is about Babylon equals the drunkards of Ephraim. The last video was about, we went through Isaiah 28. In this video, I'm taking you through Jeremiah 51, and there's some key verses in Jeremiah 51 that links both of these things. Once we identify who the crown of pride is, and which hallelujah, the Ruach showed that with my wife on a Sabbath day. She was seeking this out for me. I had intuition about it. I was doing other projects. She was seeking it out. The Ruach gave her the understanding of the crown of pride of the drunkards of Ephraim, hallelujah. And then also she was looking here in Jeremiah, and she linked the events that I had the intuition on with these verses. So these are key verses that I want to share with you guys. But the key verse that's going to link the drunkards of Ephraim and the crown of pride to Babylon, to the Babylon of Jeremiah 51, that these are the same events, is this key verse here, that in the heat I will make their feasts, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake, saith Yahweh. And so what I wanted to share with you here is that it's their feasts, okay? And feast is plural, guys. We're going to get into it more when I bring you through this video. Drunken, it's the drunkards of Ephraim. The crown of pride is when they have this heat of their feast. It's the gay pride feast. It's all sexual, homosexual debauchery, and they're like the heat of animals, where they are excited and stimulated to go out and have homosexual sex, and Yahweh's going to destroy them during their feast. And they're not going to wake up. They're not going to wake up. They're going to sleep a perpetual sleep. Besides that, this video is very important. So let's begin Jeremiah chapter 51. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners, that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that thrust through inner streets. For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah of his Elohim, of Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. So Israel and Judah has their land filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel, but they have not been forsaken, but they're going to be judged, right? I don't know the scriptures where it talks about judgment begins in the house of Elohim. Well, there's 2 houses of Elohim: the house of Israel, the northern house, and the house of the kingdom of Judah, the southern house, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul, and be not cut off in her iniquity. So guys, he's saying, get out of Babylon, deliver yourself, deliver your soul, get up and go. I believe that, at least, go take a trip for the next few days. Return on, have a return flight on the 25th, or, and see what happens and wait it out. But, based off the calendar, I suspect that it's going to be between the 21st and the 24th. So schedule your flight back for the 25th and see if there's a place to fly back to, I guess. I don't know. The vengeance of Yahweh and deliver unto her a recompense has to do with the dividing of the land of Israel, Zion. Yahweh is zealous for Zion, that we've read in Zechariah. He is zealous for Zion, and when the land is divided, as I believe, when the land for peace deal is presented by Trump, when they say peace and safety, this deal is going to be peace and safety, I believe sudden destruction is going to come upon Ephraim, upon Babylon, upon Ephraim/Babylon, the USA. We'll see what happens. I have no idea. And possibly at the same time, Ezekiel 38 and 39 will happen, which is, also some sort of judgment on the modern day Israel. Judah is going to be saved miraculously. The angel of Yahweh, which is going to appear in the air, but it's also going to be judgment going on at the same time, possible. So this is just theories, guys. So let's look into Babylon. Who's Babylon? Is Ephraim Babylon? Let's see. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Guys, this is the United States petrodollar. The whole world is filled with petrodollars everywhere. This is the golden cup of Yahweh's hand. Been drunk with the wine of the petrodollar, guys. They have to have dollars. If you don't have dollars or reserves, the bankers are going to crash your economies. This is what happens. This is why they went into Libya. This is why the U.S. went into Iraq. This is why the U.S. is against Syria. This is why there's a big Cold War against Russia. This is what's going on. It's the petrodollar game, guys. Therefore, the nations are mad. Why are they mad? They're mad because of their dollar dependence. They are dependent on the dollar, and that means that the U.S. can do whatever they want done. Who gives billions of dollars away in aid to the whole world? It's the U.S. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. USA is a country of immigrants, okay? When USA is destroyed, whoever's left is going to leave and go back to where they're from. There's not going to be an economy. Things are going to be completely there's going to have to be a reconstruction, a reorganization of world powers and world governments and the world economy. And there has to be time between Babylon is destroyed, the 10 kings arise, the peace deal reconfirmed, and going forward. And if Babylon is destroyed now in June, it's going to give about 3 or 4 months until September when I believe the peace deal will be reconfirmed, and that will give it time to set up and reconfigure the global governments of the world. But people are going to go back to their nations, okay? For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Okay, smoke's going to be coming up. Yahweh hath brought forth our righteousness. Come, let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh our Elohim. Okay, now we're going to learn about the destruction of Babylon. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it. Iran, guys, is the modern day Medes. It's also Elam. You can read about them in other prophecies that happen with the, Ezekiel 38-39 war and many of the other things. Iran is the Medes, and I believe they must have developed a weapon device. They've been working on nuclear weapons that they will probably unconventionally deliver to the United States, a surprise attack. Yes, this was fulfilled once when Babylon was defeated by the Medes, the Babylon in literal modern day Iraq that has never came back as it said it would happen. But also I believe that this is going to be a double fulfillment, and this time we're talking about a device against Babylon to destroy it. Iran has been saying, don't put sanctions on us. Don't opt out of the nuclear agreement. I wouldn't be surprised if they secretly developed a nuke weapon. They might not have the ability to deliver it intercontinentally through an intercontinental ballistic missile. Why would they try to launch an intercontinental ballistic weapon to deliver this type of device to the United States when they know the United States has, counters to do that? But if they were to sneak it in through like a port, okay, if they were to sneak it in on a ship or somehow and in cargo and deliver it that way, now that's a different situation, okay? So I believe there could be a couple of possibilities that Yahweh is going to rain down fire and brimstone out of the sky, but also something possible like this, or both, because it is the vengeance of Yahweh. So this is being done because it's the vengeance of Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. This goes back to Zechariah chapter 2, guys. The vengeance of Yahweh and his temple. I believe his vengeance is in chapter 2 or chapter 4 of Zechariah. This is what's going on. This is all about the peace deal and the temple that's going to come out from this plan and dividing the land for peace that Trump's going to announce. Will Trump announce the temple in the upcoming peace plan? We'll see. But I believe it's about the land for peace deal and the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard on the walls of Babylon and make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen and prepare the ambushes, for Yahweh hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. We know that the first time the Babylonians destroyed the first temple, and there was vengeance there. But now is Trump announcing this peace plan or whatever? Is this going to create the vengeance of the temple again because it's going to be called to be rebuilt when there's no call for Yahweh to rebuild it? Let's see. O thou that dwellest upon many waters. This is USA and their global military and navy bases. Abundant in treasures, USA. Who has all the treasures of the world? The USA. Thy end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. There's no greater covetous nation than the United States of America. Let's be real about this, guys. The wealth that the United States has is unparalleled. Okay, I'm here in Cyprus. There are immigrants that come to Cyprus from the Philippines, They're on salary for €400 a month working in the Cyprus. That is like $500, okay? That's, so the United States, like when they have these special visa programs, I want to say it's like $400 a week, like $1,600 a month minimum, 4 times the amount. There's no more people that have more treasures than the United States, more dollars than the United States right now, more goods, more wealth than the United States of America, okay? And there's no greater covetous than the United States of America. And the covetousness of the United States of America is, I believe, Babylon, Ephraim. YHWH has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with maggots, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. He hath made the earth by his power, he established the world by his wisdom, and he stretched out his hand unto heaven by his understanding. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth, and he maketh lightnings and with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasuries. Every man is brutish by his knowledge, every refiner is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. Guys, the United States of America, the U.S. Treasury, puts the image of Lady Liberty on their monetized gold and silver bullion products, and their collectible gold and silver coins. Gold and silver platinum eagles with the image of Lady Liberty. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. Guys, U.S. has been using Lady Liberty on their money. Since 1793, I came from the coin and precious metals industry. I stopped selling collectible coins and suspended my startup like 9 months ago. And several years ago, I stopped selling collectible coins retail. Because of these images, I was convicted. And now Yahweh's given me wisdom and understanding with the information I've been sharing. So guys, the portion of Jacob is not like them. For he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee I will destroy kingdoms. USA, for the last 100+ years, has been Yahweh's battle axe this century. Yahweh has used USA to destroy, look what it's done in the Middle East. Afghanistan, Iraq, now Syria, Libya. Look what it's done, in Vietnam and all of these areas, guys. Even breaking up the USSR, now it's the Federation of Russia, but broke up the Soviet Union. It's been Yahweh's battle axe for this century. And with thee I will break in pieces the horse with his rider, and will break thee into pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee I will break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee I will break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke, and with thee I will break in pieces the captains and rulers. Again, Look at the last 4 decades in the Middle East. And I will render unto Babylon and unto the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion. Maybe it's the pressure that the U.S. has put on Israel to do land for peace deals that Trump is going to want to push through. Okay? They've been trying to push the land for peace deals for decades now. And it's finally going to culminate. When Trump announces the final peace plan, possibly, announces it, guys, is this when it's going to finalize the anger of Yahweh with the pride of Ephraim that we discussed, the land for peace deal? Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, destroying country. This is what this is talking about, saith Yahweh. Okay, the U.S., saith Yahweh, which destroyeth all the earth. The Babylonians didn't destroy all the earth. The USA destroyed all the earth, that's for sure. I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and I will make thee a burnt mountain. They're going to get destroyed. Now this might have a double meaning. U.S. might be destroyed first. The Babylonian spirit move over to Saudi Arabia for the final 7 years, or somewhere else for the final 7 years. But this could have a double fulfillment, guys. And roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. Okay, they're going to get burnt. Whether it be nuclear weapons landing in the plains of Shinar, whether it be the captain of YHWH raining down sulfur and hail on the United States. Okay? And they shall not take a stone for a corner, nor a stone from the foundations, but shall be a desolation forever, saith Yahweh. New York City will be desolate forever. Set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, Ashkenaz. Okay, this is Iran still, guys. Appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. Prepare against her the nations, the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight, and have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed them, They became as a woman. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. So if Yahweh starts judgment on the USA, you don't think that Russia's going to hop on and finish it? Remember in Ezekiel 30 and 39, he caused fire to come on them that dwell safely in the isles, the coasts, okay? But then also it comes on, them in the north. The mighty men of Babylon, one post shall run to another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken away at one end. So there must be technological outages, possibly. And the first fulfillment, guys, obviously they didn't have this technology, but if this is a double fulfillment, maybe technological outages, okay? Not only that, like I said, from one end to the other, San Francisco, California, the Fat Valley on one end, Babylon on the other end. This is just my interpretation of how I see it. It could happen 3.5 years in. It could happen in a pre-tribulational judgment of Babylon and Ephraim before. I don't know, guys. We'll see. And that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are frightened. So road signal lights not working, guys. The passages are stopped. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. I believe this was in Isaiah 28. We're talking about threshing all of those different grains and seeds. Yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. So this is sometime after Shavuot. We just had Shavuot like 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. He made me an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He filled his belly with my delicacies. He cast me out. The violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall say the inhabitants of Zion. So the question is there a land for peace deal, guys? Is Israel going to get a raw deal? Trump said no one's going to like the deal, but everybody's going to live with the deal. Okay? That's how Trump is playing this one. All right? Now, maybe it might be in a favor a little bit of the Israelis, which is modern day Judah, but, could he be pushing this through to make it so everybody can swallow the deal? And if Trump says this deal, my next thing is, the violence done to me and my flesh be upon Babylon. So as soon as Trump announces this deal, do you think that all the inhabitants, all the Palestinians are going to rise up against Israel and start warring against Israel? And there's going to be shed blood in Zion because that Trump announced this deal and it backfired and all the Palestinians are now going to war with the Israelis and now the war is breaking out? The Obadiah 1 war is breaking out? Or is it Obadiah 2? You have to see my post on that. And then is that going to turn into a regional war? And is Yahweh gonna come and judge Ephraim and Babylon for this? And then is Russia gonna get involved and Turkey gonna invade? And is that gonna set everything off in the area? When they say peace and safety, sudden destruction happens. Does sudden destruction on who? Could it be sudden destruction on Ephraim and Babylon? At the same time, then next on Judah, and then the next same on which is in modern day Israel, and then the same time Russia. Who knows how? And then after that, a reformatting of the nations. And the world order? We'll see. We don't know. It's just theories, guys. We won't know exactly how everything plays out until hindsight. Therefore, Therefore saith Yahweh, behold, I'll please thy cod, take vengeance for thee, for I will dry up her sea, and make her springs dry. And Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment and a hissing without an inhabitant. So this must have happened one time around, and then maybe it will happen again. But a lot of lizards are going to be dwelling there. They shall roar together like lions, and they shall yell as lions will. In their heat I will make their feasts, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice, and sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith Yahweh. I believe that the feast is plural, guys. This is San Francisco, New York City pride parades. So let's take a look at this verse and see what it means by heat of their feasts, okay? Because that word heat is like the heat of a dog when they're ready to mate, okay? So look at the different versions here on Bible Hub, different translations for this word heat, just to get an idea of, it's not the heat of summer, okay? It's the heat of their arousal, their sexual arousal, their wicked sexual arousal for strange flesh. Okay, so look, they're aroused here. They're inflamed, flushed, heated up, hungry, greedy, flushed, excited. Appetites are all stirred up. They're all stirred up for their gay sex. And Yahweh's going to send them, make them drunk, and they're going to sleep forever. Okay, this is what it appears what's going to happen according to the scriptures, guys. Guys, the New York San Francisco Pride Parades happen on the same weekend, June 23rd to 24th. Is it going to happen pre-tribulation or is this going to happen mid-tribulation? I don't know. I can't see this happening at the end of it because I think that the final Babylon is going to be judged. This is, I believe, the daughter of Babylon. A Babylon, okay? A daughter of Babylon. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with the he-goats. How is Sheshach taken? How is the praise of the whole earth surprised? Guys, this is going to be an amazing, surprising thing. How Babylon became an astonishment among the nations. The USA destroyed suddenly. It's going to bring astonishment among the nations. The sea has come up upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. Babylon, Iraq is inland. Is this talking about New York City, Babylon? There's a Babylon right outside New York City. But New York City's also been praised by musicians as Babylon. I forgot that song. Babylon is the top song like 10 years ago, talking about Babylon, and the whole music video was shot in New York City, Babylon. So I suggest again that a third judgment of Babylon will happen when the Babylonian spirit moves on from New York City to Naum, Saudi Arabia. Naum, Saudi Arabia is the mega city that's being built, and I believe that will happen then. Who knows if that's where it will go? Might go to Rome, might go to Ankara, Turkey, might go to Jerusalem, Israel, or Geneva, Switzerland, or somewhere. Who knows where the final Babylonian spirit's going to go? Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land where no man dwelleth, nor do sons or man there pass by. And I will punish Bel and Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he swallowed up, and the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the nations of the world flowed toward Ellis Island, New York City, or Babylon. The world is still flowing to the United States through so much immigration that we provide the world. The wall of Babylon shall fall. Guys, this is the fortress of Ephraim of Isaiah 17:3 possibly. Go look up the fortress of Ephraim. I don't have time to get into it. We can get into it in a second. My people, go ye out of the midst of her. Guys, get out if you can, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of Yahweh. Leave, guys, lest your heart faint, and you fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. But this is similar to Isaiah 37, verse 20. We'll talk about that. Violence in the land, ruler against ruler. That's in the 3rd year. This is the same pattern almost as Isaiah 37:20, and I'm going to talk about that. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon. Again, the American gold and silver eagle coins with the image of Lady Liberty on it. I came out of this industry. I realized what I was selling years ago, how it violated Yahweh's commandments. I stopped selling the graven images of the collectible coins. Buying and selling the money, monetized coins is like dealing in the US dollars. I saw no difference. As far as the bullion related products, it's like they're dollar denominated metal and currencies, different from the collectible coins that were more idolatrous because of the lust that goes into collecting a collectible versus just bullion related monetary products of the USA. Her whole land shall be confounded, all of the United States, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth and all that there is in shall sing for Babylon, for the spoilers shall come unto her from the north. Canada, guys, more than likely, saith Yahweh. So maybe it should be a safe place to go to Canada, possibly to escape the judgment of Babylon, USA. As Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so is Trump's peace plan again announcement going to incite violence, guys, on Israel, modern day country of Israel? So at Babylon shall fall the slain of the earth. That's how I interpret this, possibly. You won't know until it's fulfilled, guys. Ye that escape the sword, okay, go away, stand not still, remember Yahweh afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. Basically, this is saying, come to Zion, come to Jerusalem. If you survive the sword, okay, come to Jerusalem. Now, not all of, we see immigrants going back to their homes after this. So not every single inch of Babylon is going to be, of USA is going to be destroyed. There are going to be people leaving Babylon after this. Okay, people are going to go back to their home countries. But if you hear the word of Yahweh and you fear Yahweh after this event, you're going to want to come and remember Jerusalem. It's basically saying, come to remember Jerusalem afar off. It's basically saying, come to Jerusalem, guys. All right? And it says in the scriptures that there are going to be one Jew that's going to return to Israel, and 10 people are going to latch onto their clothing and say, hey, let us come with you because we fear your Elohim. Because they're going to be saved in Ezekiel 38 and 39, and everyone's going to go, the whole nation as a people are going to return to Yahweh's name. Now, they're still going to be, their eyes aren't going to be opened to Yeshua as the Mashiach, but they're going to come back with zeal to the Elohim to their Elohim. Judah is. This is Judah that we're talking about, the southern kingdom. And 10 people for every one Jew's returning is going to go with them. So there's going to be different immigration policies going on as far as the people coming back to Israel. There's going to be people coming into Israel 10 to 1. And there's going to be a lot of people coming back. But at the same time, the peace plan is going to be coming a few months later, and we'll see what's going to happen. We are confounded because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces, for strangers are come into the sanctuary of Yahweh's house. Wherefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will do judgment upon her graven images, America again, all throughout her land the wounded shall groan. Though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify her height of her strength, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith Yahweh. A sound of cry cometh from Babylon, and great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans, because Yahweh has spoiled Babylon and destroyed her out of great voice. And when her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of their violence is uttered. Guys, you know, I don't know if this is these waves that are coming out of mid-tribulation or at the beginning. I am just saying if there is a pre-tribulational an event like this here. Because the spoilers come upon her, even upon Babylon, and her mighty men are taken. Every one of their bows is broken, for Yahweh Elohim of recompenses shall surely requite. And I will make drunk her princes and her wise men, her captains and her rulers, her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake, saith the King, whose name is Yahweh of hosts. We saw that. The drunkards of Ephraim, guys, the same thing about the drunkards of Ephraim in the heat of their feasts. The heat of the feast is the gay pride parade. That's the crown of Ephraim. It's the heat of their feasts. It's during the month of June. I theorize that it's going to happen during like as it happened on Joshua's long day, that Yahweh's Elohim of patterns. He's an Elohim of patterns that's going to repeat. The word of Jeremiah the prophet commanded Seraiah son of, and the Seraiah was a quiet prince. So Jeremiah wrote in the book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Seraiah, when thou comest to Babylon and shalt see and shalt read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Yahweh, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that shall be desolate forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made it an end of the reading of this book, that thou shalt bind it in a stone and cast it in the midst of the river Euphrates. And they shall say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. And thus are the words of Jeremiah.